Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today guys is August 8, 2021. Today I'm going to be talking about what's going on in the tropics because the tropics is now starting to ramp up. We got two seasons we have to watch. One we definitely have to watch, and the one we definitely have to watch is in the one in orange because this one has a higher chance. So the season is wrapping up guys. As we get far into August, it's time to start preparing because when I look at these models guys, these models are not looking too great on where these storms are going, how strong they're going to be. So let's look at them, this one. So that means we're going to have bad news, especially around the East Coast. So 40% chance of in the next 48 hours, but if we go in the next 5 days, we have a 50% in the next 5 days for tropical cyclone formation. So, and we got another person we gotta watch that's in orange too, that has a 40%. So this one is a little bit lower, but this main one that has a 50% is the one we have to watch. So, first thing I'm gonna do guys, before I get into the real models, I create myself my own models and my own discussion about what these storms are gonna do and what's gonna happen. So, let's see if I'm right, and see how smart I actually were when I got these models right, because my models are going to change guys as the GFS models change. So if the GFS models has a disagreement on my models, then I will change my models. So let's get right into my models. Alright guys, so here's my Invest 94 models. Okay, I create my own GFS and UMP model. I could be wrong. This is not what's going to happen. All I know, this is my prediction at what these Invest 94 can actually do and how strong it becomes. So if you're in that very, very light orange, that's probably about tropical depression. That means that's weaker than tropical storm. Then we got tropical storm in that orange and hurricane in that red. So I'm expecting this thing to become a hurricane. So this is my GFS model and this is my UMP model. So I'm gonna put this right here. I put right here GFS model and my UMP model. The UMP model and GFS model. Okay guys, the only thing that's probably similar from the same as the real GFS and the UMP model is where these storms are going. But all I know how strong they're gonna be, I put my prediction on it. So the UMP model has this becoming a hurricane. And my prediction, we expect to have a hurricane that could possibly go up to the Gulf. I mean, I'm not too sure we're gonna have a major hurricane because a major hurricane is in that very dark red, like right here. So I think I'm more concerned with the GFS model because when I look at the GFS model, this is the same path the GFS model had to take it on the real GFS model. So my prediction has the same path, but the strength ain't the same. So I'm having this, and the reason why, guys, when I look at the GFS model, I actually had to get a little bit of information from the GFS model because I'm not too sure about the GFS model where this could actually go for the GFS model. So I'm expecting this and my prediction to actually remain a developing storm, even on 90 at 100%. Then probably will not turn into a depression until it gets about right here. When I light orange, that's when it gets a tropical depression. Then it's gonna remain a tropical depression until it gets right really close to 4. The reason why I'm making this thing a little bit strengthened right when it gets past Kilo, because on the GFS model, this has the storm getting very strong, possibly a hurricane right when it gets very, very close to the USA East Coast. So that's why, and then right when I start the orange right here, tropical storm, it's gonna start being a tropical storm right when it gets about right here. So I'm expecting a tropical storm about right here. So that's when we could possibly have tropical storm Fred when it gets real close. Then it's gonna remain a tropical storm. This could, okay, the path could change, guys, because when the models have this system on the GFS, make it landfall somewhere in South Carolina. So that's where I live. So I probably need to be paying heads up too about where the system is going. So then it's going to get, then expect us to strengthen into a high and possibly a strong tropical storm about right here. Then once it gets in that red, it can actually become a hurricane just off the South Carolina coast. So the South Carolina coast, you got to be heads up because you could have a hurricane just off the coast or possibly making landfall sometimes mid-August. Then it's gonna remain a hurricane. Then we get into like a high hurricane. Yes, too early. I'm predicting this to be actually a major hurricane right when it gets right here. It's possible. That could change because it might won't even take this path. This is the same path as the GFS model, so that could change. So now let's look at my other prediction of Invest 94. Alright guys, here's... Oh, same one. Alright guys, here's some more information about Invest 94. I put my own prediction right here, so here's the percentage for becoming a tropical storm, depression, hurricane, major hurricane. So for tropical depression, guys, you probably can't see it right now, but if I close that out, I'm giving this about 60% because with this storm strengthening, it can easily become a tropical storm because once it gets right past here, it's expected to become a tropical storm. I mean, not tropical storm, but tropical depression right when it gets just south of the Bahamas, about right here. Potential for tropical storm, 40%. Not as high because I'm not actually sure if the storm is going to become something or not. But if it does become a tropical storm, and it's expected to become a tropical storm, I will push the percentage much higher. But chance of hurricane, I only gave it a 30 because it's possible that we could actually see a hurricane. Major hurricane, very low chance because I don't even know what I did with the storm to do. So it's no reason to, it's not the right to put the percentage of a hurricane very high, knowing that I don't know what this storm is going to do. But all I already know this storm is more likely to become a depression. I'm not in kind of concerned if this thing's gonna be a tropical storm. Not quite too sure if it's gonna become a hurricane, so I just put it at 30. Then I'm definitely not concerned. Not concerned, but definitely not sure if this thing is gonna become a major hurricane. So I gave the major hurricane percentage a 10, very low. So let's get right into my actual forecasting. What could happen this year? Because even though, guys, we got two systems we gotta watch. We're gonna see more this year. This is not all we're gonna see. There's gonna be a lot of more that's gonna come off the African coast, and once more come off the African coast, that's when we start being more concerned because those could actually be stronger waves that come off the African coast. So let's get right into the hot spots this year. Alright guys, so here's my hurricane hot spots for 2021 tracks. Okay, we have to watch this because this is actually my own prediction. This is not from the National Hurricane Center or none. This is my own prediction. This is what I think where these storms actually make the most landfall. In the Gulf. The reason why I put it in the Gulf because the Gulf is just so prone. The waters are so warm, and if that high pressure most likely stays about right here, mostly right here this year, instead up here, we're gonna have a lot of Gulf landfalls. So then I put a high chance of landfalls about right here towards the Carolina coast and North Carolina coast. And the reason why I put that because the chances of getting landfalls in South Carolina and North Carolina it's going to be pretty high this year because when we get the steering high, that's sitting just about right here where I got this high. When we can have a system that actually comes off the African coast, let me put this in a different color. We can have a system that comes off the African coast, it can go straight. If you remember Hurricane Florence of 2018, guys, Hurricane Florence took this similar path. So that's why it could actually turn up and go up so it can even hit South Carolina and North Carolina. So we have to watch this. So we can even have a storm that took the same path like Florence. And actually Florence really didn't hit South Carolina, made landfall in South Carolina, but it made landfall in North Carolina. But if South Carolina really didn't get hit by Florence, it don't always have to hit the same track of Florence. Or we can have a system that actually can direct hit South Carolina, starting from the African coast, coming off, going throughout the Atlantic, might miss the Bahamas from the north, even east coast of Florida, and it can actually go right into South Carolina. Or, okay, so that's the high spot for it. I put a medium chance of a hot spot on the east coast of Florida because I think the east coast of Florida is going to still see at least a storm this year, maybe possibly a hurricane. But it won't be a constantly hit spot like the Gulf and possibly the Carolina coast. So east coast of Florida, you still gonna see a storm this year. Don't rule off because you're in a much lower chance. So for the east coast of Florida, having a storm that comes off the Africa coast, going right there, like pretty much like a Hurricane Dorian did in 2019, going up the east. Going through the Bahamas, then going up to the east coast of Florida, then going up to the east coast of USA. That's what Hurricane Dorian did. So that's the path we could have to watch for the east coast of Florida. The Gulf. There's so many ways the Gulf can get hit. When the high pressure stays farther south, it keeps the systems far south. So if we have a system that comes from starting by right there, hit these islands, going through these Puerto Rico, Damar, Puglet, then Cuba, and stays farther south. We can even have one that goes towards Texas. We can have one that even goes towards Louisiana, like Hurricane Lauren did in 2020. Like Louisiana, Lake Charles does not need to see another hurricane after Hurricane Lauren. We can have another system, put this in a different color. We can have a system that comes all the way through here towards probably the southern Bahamas, going up towards the Gulf, and it could actually hit Alabama and Mississippi. Or we could actually have another system that comes, stay a little farther in the north, go up towards the Bahamas, the middle of the Bahamas, hit the Florida Keys, then can possibly go up in the Gulf, then hit the Florida Panhandle, and then goes up the east coast. Or we can have a similar storm like Hurricane Elsa that definitely hits the Bahamas, then goes up towards the Keys, then it goes up the west coast of Florida, then it turns out like that. So something to watch, guys. Those tracks I've been showing you, we're gonna see a lot of some of those tracks this year, so don't think my tracks are wrong, because we're gonna see the same tracks. I mean, not the same tracks, but we're gonna see some similar tracks that I showed you what these storms can go. So let's get into how active storms are gonna be this month. I mean, not this month, this year. Alright, guys, so this is by looking at the GFS model. Okay, this is not really my prediction, but this is from the GFS, because when I look at the GFS, guys, I'm seeing more and more waves coming off the Africa coast after the 12th. And the reason why I'm seeing so many, I'm putting a very active chance of storms between the August 16th and the 3rd, because it's about to get ramped up by the time it gets to the 16th, because I'm seeing constantly waves coming off the Africa coast. And I mean, not only waves, but strong waves. I'm seeing multiple waves coming off. So that's why I put a very active chance. By the time we get to August 31st, into the peak of hurricane season, I'm putting extremely active, guys. And the reason why I'm putting extremely active, think about how the beginning of hurricane season been. It's not been so active. We about only had like a couple storms, like 2 or 3 storms this year. And we got like, how many storms we gotta go? 18, 19 storms we gotta go to complete the list of storms we expecting this year, because we expected over 21. I'm pretty sure those 19, 18 is gonna happen in the month of September. So most of them gonna happen in the month of September, which is around the peak. So that's why, if that many storms gonna happen in that month, then I might as well put extremely active, meaning that is a lot of storms that's gonna happen in that same month. And even because of that, we might won't even finish. So I'm even still continuing for the season to be very active as we get into the late September to whole October, knowing that we still gotta complete all those storm numbers. Then I'm not expecting to be so active by the time we get to like around Halloween and after Halloween and through the whole month of November to the end of hurricane season. Not so active, but it's possible to see a couple storms in November. So now it's time to get into the real malls. The malls that's more, it's quite smaller than me, but I could actually be right, guys, because the malls could actually be wrong, because I'm pretty sure those malls are going to change. Because with being so far out, don't even make a prediction that that storm is going to take those paths, because it's too early. But when you see these paths, guys, I'm about to show you on the real GFS mall, probably don't panic, because it's too early to know where these storms are gonna go. I know East Coast of Florida has not really seen a major hurricane landfall like in a long time. I mean, you had Hurricane Dorian really hasn't did much to East Coast of Florida. Pretty much stayed off the East Coast of Florida. So really, that's the last major hurricane that actually came close to Florida. So really, the last hurricane that really hit Florida was Hurricane Irma. You gotta go back to 2017 that Hurricane Irma actually, when it hit the west coast of Florida, but the east coast of Florida had pretty strong effects from it and was gusting over hurricane force winds. So really, since Hurricane Irma, this year could actually be your first time since 2017, which is Hurricane Irma hit. So, and not only Hurricane Irma hurt a year before that, Hurricane Matthew. So don't panic, because when I look at some of these malls, it has it going right up towards the east coast of Florida. So let's get right into those malls. Alright, we here. Okay, do not get a little concerned. I mean, start getting a little concerned, but don't get too concerned because these paths are going to change. We're being so many days out. Some malls don't even have these storms even becoming nothing, but one mall is the one that it's gotten a lot of people concerned because it has a storm being a whole lot stronger and got it really close to the U.S. East Coast. So let's get right into the malls. So Invest 90 Air, here's the mall that just came out, and this is the GFS. Okay, don't get concerned about it. Yes, that's pretty close to the East Coast of Florida. This is gonna be the first time since Hurricane Irma in 2017. I mean, we had hurricanes doing that was expected to make a catastrophic hit the East Coast of Florida, but never did. Instead, it stayed off the East Coast. But can this system do the same thing? Can first part we think hurricane, whatever this hurricane gonna be, whatever name it's gonna be, actually hit East Coast of Florida? Then 10 days and a couple days later, it changed. The path changes and it actually stays up East Coast of Florida. We might see that, or the path could actually be right and it actually could really hit East Coast of Florida. Because Matthew actually stayed off the East Coast of Florida, but was close enough to do some very damaging impacts to the East Coast of Florida. So it can be possible. This is GFS, and look at the most malls. It has a strong agreement that this storm is likely to take this path. It's likely to go over the land, Cuba. I mean, not Cuba, but Puerto Rico. Then the Bahamas. Then possibly getting very close and not make landfall on the East Coast of Florida. Then it can go up back in a little bit in the water. South Carolina could actually possibly get hit by this. Too early to know. But how y'all thinking how strong it's gonna be? Okay, we know we could possibly have a storm that gets really close to the East Coast of Florida, but how strong it's gonna be? Let's look at the intensity forecast. Okay, here's the intensity forecast for Invest 94L. That's that same storm I was tracking out. We got it really close to East Coast of Florida. Here's the intensity forecast. We're gonna have a hurricane no matter in next 60 hours by looking at one model, but likely to have a tropical storm. Most models we're expecting this to be a tropical storm. There's about 1 or 3 models that has this thing becoming a Cat 1 hurricane. It's time to start preparing because the season is here. The peak is just about around the corner. Really a month away from the peak, which is still quite a while away, but August could still be very active. So I think Invest 94L is the one we have to watch. Because as we're getting more updates and updates, you can see we're getting better agreement at what could actually happen and what we could actually end up dealing with by the time we get into mid to late August. So let's look at some upper malls, and here's the malls I was looking at that actually had a lot of people concerned. Okay, so here's the malls that got a lot of people concerned. Yes, when I look at the malls, guys, it has to actually go into the Gulf. The pressure is not very low, meaning the storm is not going to be very strong. Earlier today, guys, this path has changed. This is what I'm saying. Don't think this is going to take this path, because yes, it's going to change, and not only, but it's going to change because we are too far out. Earlier, it had this big black line actually having this going right along the East Coast of Florida and going up to South Carolina. Now, as a couple hours later, it got a storm going right into the Gulf, and it can hit in the Panhandle of Florida, because Panhandle of Florida was not even the path. And with the pressure being much more lower on the last update. But now in this update, the pressure is much more high, meaning the storm is going to be a lot weaker. This could change. Don't think this is going to happen. But look like the Gulf is going to probably be in the book side of this system. So let's look at some upper models. Okay, so here's some cover malls right here. This is probably the last mall I'm going to show you. After this, I'm going to go through WinTY, but I don't think WinTY has quite updated yet. The malls in the WinTY hasn't updated because they don't update like, I think, yeah, 4 o'clock Eastern time. So let's go ahead to show you. The same system. Now, this eye is a little different on this mall. This mall has it going right on the east coast of Florida. So things is gonna change, guys. I think the one that has it going to golf is probably the UMP mall, because this is the GFS mall that has gotten really close to the east coast of Florida. So these malls does not have the same agreement, guys. So things are gonna change. Which mall you think is gonna be right? The GFS or the European? We will see. If the GFS model wins, oh my god. But if the UMP model wins, oh my god. So yeah, we gotta watch. So let's show you a couple more things, then the video will end. But I will have another video out tomorrow, because I'm pretty sure a lot of things gonna change now in the mall. I mean, that 50% can literally go up to a 70%, because we gotta go through like 3-4 anniversaries before tomorrow gets here. The 11 o'clock is the big one, so is the 4 o'clock PM is the big one. It means we can see significant changes with the forecast and how strong it could be. So let's go ahead, look at satellite. Look at the storm. It's not pretty strong, but it's got some decent affection in it. So yeah, storm guy, it's definitely the storm we definitely have to keep an eye on. So this is gonna probably be it for this video. I mean, I will have another video tomorrow, but after tomorrow it won't be another video in the next 3 days. So keep in mind that this season is about to get busy. Thanks for watching. You like, subscribe, and see you back on another video.